Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We have been reviewing, discussing documentation that was recently submitted to the public as public records by the Idaho State Police in a massive document drop, numbering more than 2,300 pages. Those were released October 31st, 2025. This is the fifth batch of information, documents, and or photographs in the matter styled as Idaho versus Kohberger and or relative to their investigation into the crimes at 1122 King Road, of which they played a very central role. I would like to, at this time, call your attention to one of the documents that were released in this recent delivery of public records by the Idaho State Police. It is dated January 2023. This would be approximately 1 week after Mr. Kohberger's arrest in Pennsylvania on December 30th, 2022. But before we go through this document, I'm recommending, if you have not yet had an opportunity to review our two prior presentations, I'm requesting that you do so here because this follows the two matters that we reported on. One was with respect to suspect number 1, as he was called, a 21-year-old white male that the Idaho State Police conducted surveillance on in the evening of the 3rd of December going into the morning hours of the 4th of December, 2022. He was listed as suspect number 1. Our second presentation focused on documentation from the Idaho State Police Forensics Department that listed some evidence that had apparently been brought to the ISP forensic lab for forensic testing at the request of the Moscow Police Department. And in that documentation, dated December 5th, 2022, there were listed 2 suspects. One whose name appeared first, redacted in date of birth, listed as a suspect. The second was Brian Kohberger. For some reason on December 5th, his name was not redacted on this form. His date of birth was. The next document that I want to call to your attention is one also from the Idaho State Police Forensic Services Department. But here it appears that Mr. Kohberger's name is listed twice, although in a slightly different format. The document in question is the Idaho State Police Forensic Services Evidence Submission Receipt Form. This date is January 6th, 2023. It states here that the delivery method of the evidence that's being submitted is agency courier, delivered by D. Blaker. And then further down we see submitting agency is confirmed to be the Moscow Police Department, the lead agency into the crimes at 1122 King Road. The date of the offense, November 13th, 2022. That coincides with the date that has become all too familiar if you followed the case of Idaho versus Kohberger as the date that the tragedies occurred at 1122 King Road of November 13th, 2022. The county of the offense is Latah County, where Moscow is located. The charge, unaliving, and then we see the investigating officer is now not listed as D. Blaker, but Dustin Blaker, who is believed to be then Sergeant, now Captain Dustin Blaker, whose name appears frequently if you review the Idaho State Police Forensic Services forms, submission, receipts, other documentation. His name appears there many times, as opposed to Detective Brett Payne, who was, from what the public understood, the lead detective from the Moscow Police Department into the case, who also signed the affidavit of probable cause back on December 29th, 2022, which asked for and received the warrant for Mr. Kohberger's arrest. By the way, then Sergeant Blaker is listed page 1 of the affidavit of probable cause as accompanying Detective Payne to 1122 King Road on November 13th, 2022 at approximately 4 p.m. Returning to this evidence submission receipt form. If we go on to page number 2, we see the names of 3 suspects listed here. Suspect 1, name redacted, date of birth redacted. This, giving an opinion, pure commentary, pure speculation, may be suspect number 1, who the aforementioned surveillance by the Idaho State Police was conducted on. Then we see suspect 2. This is how Brian Kohberger's name was listed in the aforementioned December 5th, 2022 Idaho State Police Forensic Services evidence submission receipt form with respect to other evidence that was submitted prior to the submission of January 6th, 2023. We see name Brian Kohberger appears to be spelled correctly. Date of birth redacted. Now look at suspect number 3. Brian Christopher Kohberger, last name spelled K-H-O-B-E-R-G-E-R. Date of birth redacted. Those are the only 3 listed on this form. The redacted name number 1, Brian Kohberger name number 2, and then Brian Christopher Kohberger with a slight misspelling of the last name, number 3. If we go on throughout this form, we see the names of subjects redacted, not suspects, however. And if you go on to the next page, page number 3, that page is completely filled with the names of other redacted subjects. Turning now to page number 4, we see the name of 3 subjects and then the victims. Madison first, Xana second, Ethan third, Kaylee fourth. The items that are being submitted at this time. Item number 98, major crime prints for name redacted. 99, possible hair found inside shower drain tested positive presumptive red DNA. 100, dark red counter swab tested positive presumptive red DNA. Marker A. The one before says marker 9. And then we see 101, cutting of reddish brown stain on uncased pillow tested positive presumption, ISP marker B. And now going to the next page, we see the remaining items. Item number 102, top of mattress pad, ISP marker C. 103, bottom of mattress pad, ISP marker C. 104, seat cover and cushion from suspect vehicle. Number 105, seat back collected from suspect vehicle. 106, section of headliner near visor collected from suspect vehicle. 107, seatbelt boot collected from suspect vehicle. Number 8, buccal swab collected from suspect in Latah jail. Number 9, major crime prints from redacted. These are opinions that we provide that are complete opinions, speculation, commentary, rhetorical questions pursuant to the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. If you have any comments, any thoughts, any opinions regarding this matter, please leave them here. And until next time, my name is Kathy. Thank you very much for joining us here today.